Good evening and welcome to Nationwide. I am Ifoma Ojinta. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, says all recovered assets are in the custody of the agencies that effected the recovery, while recovered funds are lodged into forfeiture accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria. The minister gave the insight during an appearance before the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the management of recovered looted funds and assets. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The minister, who is making a first appearance before the committee, explained that the status of accounts harboring recovered looted funds are as contained in records submitted to the committee by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. She added that amounts were being borrowed from some of the recovery accounts to fund the budget and some exceptional requirements.
So what the Ministry of Finance has been managing is the cash, the liquid funds that come that are recovered in Naira as well as in foreign currency. We have had situations where we have had to ask for some exceptional approval to borrow from the funds to be able to meet some exigencies of the day-to-day operations of government. We now look at how to pay back, again, by making provision in the budget for 2022 so that we are able to start paying back these borrowed funds.
The committee frowned at this development, pointing out that only the National Assembly can authorize utilization of funds as provided in the Constitution. The committee mandated the minister to set up a technical team which will work with the committee in the ongoing investigation. In its quest for additional information after explanation from the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, on the various transactions in the recovery accounts, the committee has invited the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, to appear with details of all recovery accounts. In another development, House Committee on Environment has held a public hearing on 3 bills which seek to tackle environmental hazards being experienced in the country.
They are very important to the development and growth of our environment. We will also take cognizance of global and national realities and come out with a report that is fixable and factual.
The bills are on the Great Green Wall, regulation of forestry and environment trust fund. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Chinese ambassador to Nigeria and Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipre Silva have called for the deepening of bilateral relations between the two countries. They both agreed on sustainability of the excellent relations existing between their two countries. A statement by the Group General Manager and Special Assistant Media to the Minister of State Petroleum, Garbadin Mohammed, quotes the ambassador and minister agreeing that the recent revocation of some oil mining licenses held by ADAS, a Chinese-owned company, was purely a commercial decision that must not be allowed to impact the excellent relationship between the two countries, while reiterating that the relationship is intact. The interface, which held at the minister's office at the NNPC Towers in Abuja, ended with the Chinese ambassador extending an invitation to the Nigerian Minister of State Petroleum Resources to visit China. Silva accepted the invitation and promised to pay a visit to China later in the year. Now, stakeholders at a forum on the review of the Freedom of Information Act are requesting relevant authorities to leverage on the application of the Act to advance the fight against corruption and financial leakages in the nation's economy. Kenneth Nanim reports that the event was at the instance of the National Orientation Agency.
The Freedom of Information Act was passed into law in May 2011 to enable the public access information to ensure transparency and accountability in public and private dealings. After a decade of operation of the law, the National Orientation Agency is engaging Freedom of Information Act desk officers drawn from government ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the private sector, on a review of application of the Act where necessary.
If the citizens know that this law favors them, belongs to them, they will do more than they are doing. So this is one law that is in the favor of the people, and the people should pick it up.
The focus is on performance appraisal over the years, experience sharing, and training and retraining of desk officers who will in turn enhance public awareness and enlightenment for improved service delivery.
Where everything is shrouded in secrecy, that is where corruption happens. But if you throw it to the open, people will be careful how they conduct business, government business activities, and not just government now, but even for private that utilize public funds.
Ability or the inability of ministries, departments, and agencies to respond to our FOI, it also goes to show the weakness of the law. And even though the law provides proactive disclosure of information, it's not being done.
The forum is also to highlight the fundamental principles of information disclosure, obligations of public officers and institutions, as well as applications and rights under the Freedom of Information Act. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The deplorable sections of the Warri-Sapele-Benin dual carriageway and some failed federal roads in the state are undergoing rehabilitation through the direct labor efforts of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA in Delta State. Austin Edemodo reports that the already rehabilitated Ila Ebu Road has equally been appreciated by members of the public.
This heavy gridlock along the Warri-Sapele-Benin dual carriageway has often been associated with the dilapidated portions of the road. This timely intervention by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency through direct labor is to rehabilitate the bad spots and tackle the growing erosion challenge on the shoulders of the road.
At least they see the road some of the area not the bad before, but they help now they correct the roads and make it very motorable for people to pass.
For us to keep the road motorable and to protect the road to give it a longer lifespan is to do what we call an overlay.
Also, major reinforcement has been carried out at the Anwai River Bridge. The expansion of the water channel has ensured that the embankment of the river is not vulnerable to flooding. Meanwhile, the once deplorable state of the Ela Ebu Road, which had been a nightmare to commuters, is now wearing a new look.
The management of the agency of FEMA, in their wisdom through the post-COVID-19 intervention contract, has been able, as we can see, to, bring back the road to a motorable and good state.
This facelift by FEMA has continued to elicit testimonies from this mechanic, truck driver, and even the farmers.
The market woman and man can come and buy something, corn yams.
So vehicle are spoiling the road. Even though the vehicle cannot carry load and pass again, they would like to go and follow Awuchi instead of to follow shortcut and follow Ila Road to Asaba. Thank God for the work FEMA people come to do for us in Ila.
We are still appealing to the federal. Coming to the main Ila, you can notice, you can see all here. Let them still help us.
The Federal Road Maintenance Agency in Delta State is currently working at different locations across the state to make the roads motorable. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
And to political matters, a faction of the All Progressives Congress APC in Kwara State has called on the national body of the party to look into its grievances. This was at a stakeholders meeting held at the open field of the Lower Niger River Basin. Ilorin Kende Omolosho has the report.
The faction, under the leadership of Bashir Bolaniwa, is alleging that over 50,000 of its members were disallowed from registering as members in the concluded membership registration and revalidation exercise of the party. Addressing its supporters, Bashir Bolaniwa frowned at the non-inclusive nature of governance in the state, which he believes counters the intent and spirit of the Otoge mantra and other democratic norms.
As far as our members are concerned, we remain in APC and nobody should contemplate of leaving the party. Then whatever difficulties they are going through now, they must be rest assured that all the problems will be solved, that the problems will be over. One of the challenges that we have been faced with is the issue of registration exercise that people who are not allowed to partake.
He appealed to the national leadership of the party to allow members not captured in the registration and revalidation exercise to do so. The meeting was attended by stakeholders from the 193 wards in the state. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
It's now time to join our Lagos Network Center for trending stories from there, and Adiola is standing by. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Ifoma. Good to see you. The House of Representatives Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values says there is need to effectively monitor the performance of digital switchover in states already launched if the desired impact will be achieved. Musa Toliat reports that this was the crux of discussion at a two-day retreat in Lagos, which had in attendance representatives of the NBC and major stakeholders in the digital switchover.
The two-day retreat was convened at the instance of the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values to appraise the impact of the digital switchover and to deepen collaboration with the National Broadcasting Corporation as more states get set to embrace digital life. Issues on availability and affordability of the set-top box was an integral part of the House Committee on Information meeting with stakeholders in digital switchover project and the National Broadcasting Corporation.
The federal government of this nation have subsidized about 908,000 set-top boxes to be given free to Nigerians. How far have we gone about it? How many of these boxes have been activated? Because we must see that the value for money for Nigerians, we must see to that, and that's exactly what it's part of what we're here for.
The Nigerian government is committed to it. We've been implementing this process in practical terms since 2016 with the rollout in Jos, and we're in 7 states now, including Lagos. In the next few weeks, we intend a further rollout in Kano, and after Kano, we're in Port Harcourt, and from Port Harcourt, River State, we go to Gombe and other states. We hope to complete the process by the grace of God by the end of 2022.
The gathering also afforded new members of the House Committee to get first-hand information on digital switchover and the existing partnership with stakeholders in the National Digital Project. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Small and medium-scale courier operators and alleged extortion from touts can be resolved if parties comply with regulations instituted by NIPOST. This was the decision reached when some operators took their grievances to the Nigeria Postal Service Agency's office in Lagos. Abolade Salami reports.
Different strokes for different folks is the best way to describe the protest by illegal courier operators who converged on NIPOST head office here in Lagos to press home their demand for a reduction in the 250,000 licensing fee being demanded by the agency. We heard that you guys are operating illegally. Tell us what's happening.
I understand you use the word illegally because probably we didn't know some things that we were educated about today. For a bike, see all the papers we are paying. All this paper is worth 70,000 naira. So this is Kebbi State Board of Internal Revenue. I'm like, what is Kebbi State looking for in Lagos State? Do you understand? See, this is Kebbi State again.
We need to be regulated. We're not saying we shouldn't be regulated. What we're just saying is that the money is too much.
What was initially planned to be a protest by the illegal courier service operators ended up as a dialogue, where the regulatory body was emphatic on the need for them to get licensed as a way to sanitize the sector from unwholesome activities and acts of criminality. The major concern of the operators, which dwell on what they call exorbitant licensing fee and other payments from other quarters, is being identified as bane to their survival. This, the postal agency said, will be resolved if rules are complied with.
So it's not about the licensing fee, it's not. From the emphasis you can see they stand to benefit more
by being licensed. Most of the public outcry against dumping, broaching, missing items that come to our office wouldn't come. Most of them cannot be traced. I think it's more about the ethical value, the professional practice.
While both parties have agreed to ensure the sector is regulated against all forms of illegality, the agency assured them of their cooperation at all times. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now to stemming smuggling, the Customs Strike Force Team A says it is all out to salvage the economy of the country from smugglers who are bent on destroying it by frustrating their activities and causing them financial losses. The coordinator, Madu Shaibu, stated this at a briefing on the team's anti-smuggling drive from April till date. Michael Olaleye reports.
Drugs. We are going to destroy them.
Labeled as chest and lung tablets, these unbranded drugs are total contrasts from their original contents. The curiosity of the customs led to their interception.
Open inside and see is more or less more than 12 horsepower. Chemical analysis will tell you what 1 horsepower it is. Anybody that takes this will be able to work relentlessly for 72 hours without stop.
The items, packed in 664 cartons, the customs explained did not only fail regular checks, but also invaded due process. Also seized are 530 cartons of footwears and 575 bales of second-hand clothing, falsely declared as vehicles, engines and parts. The coordinator, who lamented the economic and health implications of importing these kind of items, believes the seizure will send a message to importers.
They should desist from bringing this type of unwholesome importation. You agree with me that footwear is banned? We can produce it in this country. Our youth, teeming youth, boys and girls are doing it better than what they are bringing in.
Equivalent of 3 trucks of foreign rice and 1,440 cartons of supermarket goods were captured on the list of the Strike Force anti-smuggling drive from April till date, and the force also raised demand notices in the tune of 420 million naira. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
There will be more news on Nationwide after this break. Please stay with us.
NTA.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Visit our website on www.nta.ng for more news and updates, or follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. Stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
You're welcome back. Now, without clearly defined laws backing a quota system for inclusion of women in political party nominations. Vice President of Liberia, Joel Taylor, says the clamor for gender equity in governance will remain just a dream. This is a position female members of the ECOWAS Parliament are ready to promote in the West African sub-region. Onange Fineface reports.
Joel Taylor, Vice President of Liberia, former member of the Liberian Parliament, and current leader of the National Patriotic Party, stands tall as a woman capable of taking up the responsibility of leadership.
Many women are not members of the political parties. And if you are not a member of a political party, then your journey is 100 steps behind.
Hers is a story of the will and determination to thrive in politics, a story she shares with female members of the ECOWAS Parliament, motivating the participation of women in politics.
But it was that gender quota law that was enforced in 2005 that gave me a window. If it had not been in the law, I would not have gotten elected.
Together, the female legislators resolved to pursue gender parity to make the Liberian example resonate in West Africa.
Use this as an entry point into Nigeria to address the leadership of the National Assembly so that the quota system is brought to bear.
Let them see us be vibrant. You have to talk like a woman. Your shoulders will be high up there. We've been begging. This is our chance. We have 52%.
The ongoing session of the ECOWAS Parliament now doubles as an opportunity to press home demands for gender quota law for political parties in West Africa to produce more Joel Taylors in the region. Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
7 Nupe-speaking local government areas in Niger State, alongside their counterparts in Kogi and Kwara, have made a robust presentation on the creation of Edu State at the ongoing public hearing organized by the 9th Senate. Abubakar Wowo reports that critical stakeholders in the zone also presented memoranda on the alteration of the constitution to tackle insecurity and socio-economic emancipation of the country.
Inspired by the strong resolve of the National Assembly to review the provisions of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to meet the yearnings and aspirations of the populace, encouraged the desire of the people of Nupe-speaking areas in North Central Zone to aspire for their own state. Convinced by the verifiable strong economic potentials of the proposed Edu State, which include the ongoing oil and gas exploration and construction of the biggest inland ports in Baro by the federal government, among others.
This memo has been signed by the royal fathers, signed by the elected representatives in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, in the State House of Assembly, a chairman of local governments.
We submitted the memorandum on behalf of the Solomon community on the correct name of the headquarters of Ekiti local government area of Kwara State in furtherance of what we think will engender good governance in the administration of that local government.
Our case, it all boiled down to issue of the FCT indigenous natives render stateless.
Esunupi and Chairman, Niger State Council of Traditional Rulers, Alhaji Yahya Abubakar, also advocates a place for traditional rulers in the proposed constitution.
So many people have been complaining or doubting or confused on what actually role they want traditional rulers to play now. Some even feel that, especially some politicians, they feel that the institution want to usurp their roles, which is not.
After the presentation of dozens of memoranda, the chairman subcommittee Constitutional Review North Central Mina Center, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, adjourned sitting earlier scheduled for 2 days. Sinedai in Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a total of 48 submissions were made by different interest groups at the end of the 1999 Constitution Review public hearing for Imo and Abia states held in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam reports that the Senate's Chief Whip, Senator Ojiuzo Kalu chaired the session.
For participants at the 1999 Constitution Review public hearing for Abia and Imo states held in Owerri, it was a two-day event that afforded them the opportunity to make inputs in the effort to address lapses in the nation's constitution. They took time to analyze their concerns, some of which include gender equity, free education, and community policing. The Ohaneze Ndigbo, represented by the President General, Professor George Obiozo, stood out with their submission on the need for equity and fairness, decentralization, and devolution of powers.
It will require a restructured Nigeria to contain the present forces and tendencies towards a synchronized national crisis.
We can have a reversion or conversion of the 6 geopolitical zones as we have now in Nigeria to 6 regional governments.
Nigerian women, we are ready to work hand in hand with men, and we are saying this is the right time to achieve it.
The chairman of the session and the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Ojiuzo Kalu, says the submissions will be conveyed to the National Assembly for further deliberations.
We have collected what we're supposed to collect, and we are taking them back home to start work on the amendments.
We would have this constitution amended for the good of it. It may not be everything that we have asked for.
In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
And electoral reforms, security, gender equity, autonomy of all arms of government in the real sense formed part of submissions from various states and groups at the South Zonal public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution held in Port Harcourt. Ijoma Ugweke reports.
The Constitution review under the chairmanship of Senator Betty Apiafi was declared open by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Epalibo Harry Banigo. It provided an opportunity for stakeholders to make their contributions on some challenges hindering the peaceful coexistence in the country. Submissions from various interest groups such as Nigerian Labour Congress, religious groups, and representatives of various states of the South presented their position on state police, independence of all tiers of government, labor wages, revenue sharing, and electoral reforms, including tenure of political office holders and party defection.
So we believe labor issues, especially the minimum wage and other issues of welfare, must retain in the exclusive lead so that workers are protected by the laws.
Other submissions were reviewed on gender parity and opportunity for education to be made free for women and the vulnerable.
Today we are here to raise our voices that we are ready.
Amendment permitting that the Supreme Court be decentralized, establishment of ecclesiastical courts and court of appeal in each state to reduce delay of justice.
The mission is that the Nigerian Constitution should be well amended to accommodate the establishment of Christian judicial system and give us our own ecclesiastical court of justice.
The two-day Constitution review was applauded as a feat that will enhance development and promote peace in the country. In Port Harcourt, Ijoma Ugweke, NTA News.
In the meantime, a two-day public hearing by the Senate Committee on the review of the 1999 Constitution has ended in Akure, with stakeholders advocating amendments to gray areas to meet the demands and expectations of Nigerians. Some of the participants at the hearing were of the view that the nation will be on the path of true federalism if the numerous inputs form part of the amendment. Abiola Ariyo reports.
The inadequacies identified in Nigeria's 1999 Constitution are said to be among the major factors slowing down the country's pace of development. This is what the two-day public hearing by the Senate Committee on the 1999 Constitution Review seeks to address by harmonizing stakeholders' contributions to meet contemporary democratic system of government.
If good governance continue to elude the masses when government is far away from them. The federal and the states, they are too far away from the grassroots. and local governments are the answer.
As a way of restructuring, mine may not really be a true federalism kind of thing. But what I recommend is that with the creation of more states and local governments, with the passage of the petroleum industry bill, with the abrogation of open grazing and some of those things, that the zones will be more consolidated and it will enhance service delivery.
But when you have more women in parliament, there will be life. A lot of development issues will be given the kind of life that it requires.
We have come here to collect your opinions, and be rest assured we will do a non-partisan report on those opinions.
Participants were drawn from Ekiti, Osun, and the host, Ondo States, in Akure. Abiola Rio, NTA News.
And for more on constitutional public hearing review, let's join Agatha in Benin. Hello, Agatha.
Hello, Former. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Now, members of the 1999 Constitution Review Committee, South Zone in Asaba Center, have concluded the two-day public hearing with the resolve that the fundamental issues raised by Nigerians will be properly addressed in the new amendments being sought in the Constitution. Austin Edemodu reports.
The last day of the public hearing witnessed robust presentations on how to fine-tune the 1999 Constitution. While some desire for a whole new Constitution, others sought for necessary amendments that will cure lacuna in the 1999 Constitution.
The 1999 Constitution should be amended to reflect that immunity should not extend to investigation for criminal acts committed during the tenure of office holders.
The move to amend the Constitution presupposes that it is a valid document, then you can amend it to make it better. It does not comply with the universal standard procedure for enactment of a constitution of a nation, which is through the Constituent Assembly.
The two-day public hearing indeed gave voices to all shades of opinions and groups. The Constitution Review Committee therefore assured that all inputs will be properly scrutinized and tailored into a working document for the ongoing amendments to the 1999 Constitution.
We have collected them. We are going to take them to the mother committee, like the main committee in the Senate, and all of them will be analyzed.
Nigerians should be patient. Rome was not built in a day.
The 1999 Constitution Amendment Asaba Center comprised Edo, Bayelsa, and Delta states. Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Away from public hearing for review of Constitution, winners of the first NTA Benin virtual children paper presentation have been presented prizes. It was at the grand finale of the event to commemorate Children's Day. Here are details.
Children from different schools in Benin City presented papers via Zoom on current issues. The junior category dwelt on the effects of COVID-19 on academic activities, while the senior category addressed a teenager in lockdown, personal experiences in dealing with emotional challenges of being in months of lockdown. The winners are here to take home their star prizes.
This is a gift from NTA. This is a blessing from NTA.
When I was writing it, it was getting stressful. Then when I just submitted my essay, and I got surprised that I took first position.
The second to fifth runner-up in both categories also went home with different prizes.
It was actually the NTA who gave me the opportunity to realize that I'm a very good writer.
When I got this award, I was very happy because I knew that my efforts was not in vain.
For this year, the burning issue is the COVID-19 pandemic, and we thought that rather than hear adults talk about it, let us give the children a voice.
So I had a virtual event in Lagos last year, and of course the best thing for me to do is to replicate what I did in Lagos here for the betterment of people of Edo State. Edo State, you are going to see more and more virtual events.
As they left in celebration mood, the children expressed optimism that NTA Benin has opened the doors for more opportunities and virtual engagements that will sharpen their communication and telecommunication skills.
That ends it here. Nationwide continues with Sedia in our Sokoto Network Center. But right after this break, stay with us.
While social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, The Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. running for 1 whole hour discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
To have you join us in Sokoto. About 261 vesico-vaginal fistula patients have been operated on between January 2020 to date at the Mariam Abacha Women and Children Hospital, Sokoto. This came to the fore as wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, in collaboration with UNFPA, visit the hospital. Sheikh Muhammad Detti reports.
One of the happiest moments of every woman is the time of delivery of her baby, but sometimes this comes with complications like prolonged obstructed labor, which is one of the causes of BVF. Most times, BVF survivors are abandoned and left to their fates by their husbands and even family members.
So it's very rare for you if the woman is booked, she came for antenatal care and she came for a labor room at the right time, and she is monitored by a skilled birth attendant in facility right from the beginning. It's very unlikely she will have fistula.
As part of efforts to show love and care for the BBF survivors, wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, in collaboration with UNFPA, visited them at the facility where they are recuperating. She urged husbands to always allow their wives go for antenatal care. At Maria Abacha Women and Children Hospital Sokoto, from January 2020 to date, 261 BBF patients were operated on, 180 rehabilitated, and 125 integrated with their families. Highlights of the event was presentation of mats, buckets, blankets, and other items to all the BBF survivors. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Now, the Emir of Gwandu and Chairman Kebbi State Council of Chiefs, Dr. Muhammad Ilyasu Bashar, has called on the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics to call off their strike, adding that dialogue remains the best solution to trade disputes. The Emir made the call when he received the National President, Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, on a Save Our Soul visit to Abdullahi Fudio Palace, Birnin Kebbi. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The national president, Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Anderson Ezeibe, assured the emir that very soon the strike will be called off and urged the federal government to also honor the 2017-2018 agreement. He appealed to the emir of Gwandu to intervene for an amicable resolution to the lingering issue between the union and the federal government.
We are appealing for your kind intervention, Your Highness, and we verily believe that if Your Highness lends his voice in this matter in a sustainable way, that the problems or the challenges facing different polytechnics and colleges of technology in Nigeria will be resolved.
The Emir of Gwandu and Chairman Kebbi State Council of Chiefs, Dr. Muhammad Ilyasu Bashar, urged the federal government and ASUP to engage in dialogue on the lingering issue between them. He added that the strike is negatively affecting education in the country.
As a human being, you must understand that every time there is something wrong. And that is why we as human beings, we must find a solution. That is why as human beings, we are busy. If there is no problem, there is, what do we do? Problem must be there, and it must be solved by us.
The emir pledged to intervene by engaging relevant stakeholders for an end to the trade dispute. Abdullah Omar Elalu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja.
Many thanks, Sadia. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on the actors in the political crisis in Mali to come together for the peace and unity of the country. The president spoke when he received in audience former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is special envoy and ECOWAS mediator to the West African country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports. Okay. I've been told the story will come in the course of the bulletin or as subsequent bulletins. Now, protection of civilians and needs assessment during conflicts are two of the many key points which the book, The Making of Humanitarian Actors, written by Brigadier General Dele Olabode, retired, explores with a view to fostering civil-military cooperation in emergency situations. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports from the Army Resource Center where the book was launched.
More than 1.9 million people have been displaced internally by violence and armed conflict in northeastern Nigeria. The area has been described as one of the most challenging operational environments for aid organizations, leaving the military to take on the role of emergency worker in addition to fighting insecurity. For this reason, these key players from military and civil society have gathered to celebrate the solutions proffered in this book, The Making of Humanitarian Actors, written by Brigadier General Dele Olabode, who himself has been in the war front as military humanitarian officer, Operation Lafia Doli.
But in the course of my duty, I realized that there were so many missing links. And that's why I started gathering my data. I said, no, we need to right the wrongs. Because the worst thing that can happen to a disaster responder is for him not to know what to do at a particular point in time.
As the reviewer, Professor Abdusalam, and other guests at the occasion say, the 6th-chapter, 121-page book transforms civil-military relations in conflict zones as it draws from the author's expertise and experience from organizations identified as the most present and effective humanitarian actors. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Let's go back to our earlier story where we told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has called on actors in the political crisis in Mali to come together for the peace and unity of the country. Jide Onifade will tell us more.
Mr. President.
The two leaders working in agreement over the Mali political imbroglio. As President Muhammadu Buhari remarked, a situation where most parts of the country are in the hands of insurgents calls for a consensus and restoration of peace and not a further escalation of the crisis. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama speaks more on how the president feels on the situation in Mali.
Well, he was extremely disappointed with the attitude of the government of Mali, because he pointed out that 70% of Mali is under the control of insurgents, and that he would have expected that all the stakeholders in Mali would come together to seek to recover the 70% of their country that is under the occupation of rebels and insurgents, and be united for that purpose.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan had briefed the president of the current situation in Mali after meeting with the key political actors ahead of the meeting of ECOWAS leaders under the chairmanship of President Nana Akufo-Addo of the Republic of Ghana. He added that the meeting of the regional leaders was necessary to urgently find an acceptable solution to the current impasse in the West African nation. Again, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyama speaks more on this.
So that's what former President Goodluck Jonathan came to brief Mr. President on, and put before Mr. President the various options that they would now have to consider when the ECOWAS heads of state meet at this emergency meeting on Sunday in Accra, chaired by the President of Ghana in his capacity as the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan is the ECOWAS mediator on Mali. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And for more stories on Nationwide, let's join Abubakar in Maiduguri. Over to you, Abubakar.
It's always good to see you, Ifoma, and thank you for joining us. As part of measures to consolidate on the state of emergency declaration on water, sanitation and hygiene by President Muhammadu Buhari, Borno State Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Agency, RUWASA, is taking far-reaching strategies to end open defecation. In that light, General Manager of the agency, Engineer Mohammed Musa Aliyu, flagged off Clean Nigeria campaign and youth volunteer program on hand washing for COVID-19 prevention held in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Here are more details of the story. The federal government of Nigeria had in the last 2 years, through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, launched the Clean Nigeria campaign aimed at ending open defecation across the country by the year 2025, where 100 youths from each of the local government areas of the Federation were carefully selected to serve as sanitation and hygiene ambassadors for a specified period after receiving rigorous training on hand washing and other relevant skills required to achieve the said goal. Flagging of the program, General Manager RUWASA Engineer Mohammed Musa Aliyu praised Borno State government for the overwhelming support given to the initiative by providing significant number of latrines and boreholes in addition to rehabilitating non-functional ones in camps as well as host communities.
By accepting and adopting these changes means we are saving our lives, the lives of our future generations.
Representative of the Minister of Water Resources and other critical stakeholders at the event, including representatives of various non-governmental organizations, all harped on the need to aggressively pursue the development of a roadmap to end open defecation before the national target date of 2025.
Without getting a healthy society, then there's not going to be development.
We at the local government level will ensure that the program has been sustained. The volunteers urge them to do justice to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Borno State government.
The event also featured presentation of kits to the youth volunteers for optimum result to be achieved in the long run. Still talking held. As the global community marks Menstrual Hygiene Day 2021, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, Borno chapter, has embarked on sensitization of school girls to stay clean and healthy. The exercise, which took place at the girls' boarding school, GGC Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, also featured distribution of sanitary items to hundreds of students. Rebecca Baturi completes the story.
The International Menstrual Hygiene Day had been celebrated every 28th of May since it was initiated by the German-based non-governmental organization Water Sanitation and Hygiene WASH in 2014. This year's celebration has the theme Action and Investment in Menstrual Hygiene and Health. It was in line with the 2021 theme that Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, Borno, celebrated the day with combined students of Government Girls College, GGC, Ngoshe Wulgo, and the host school, GGC Maiduguri, for them to be aware of how to maintain social and personal hygiene. Some of the students expressed appreciation for the opportunity to be part of the sensitization, as it has broadened their knowledge on how to take good care of themselves so as to prevent infection. The causes of barrenness later in life. Representative of the chairperson Nawaj Borno, the vice chairperson Amina Fidi Amadou, charged the students to maintain good hygiene during menstruation and always use pads safely.
I believe the school now has a very vital role to play in ensuring that the students maintain this hygiene.
The civic education mistress, GGC Maiduguri Halima Bamanga, thanked Nawaj for the awareness campaign, saying the teachers have also benefited from the program. Secretary Nawaj Borno Pauline Kujevana and the treasurer Zainab Ahmed enlightened the students on how to keep themselves clean and safe. There was question and answer session and distribution of sanitary items by Nawaj Borno, which include pads and soap for maintenance of sanitary health. In Maiduguri, Rebecca Baturi, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories at this time. From Maiduguri, Ifoma in Abuja has the last segment of Nationwide. Do have a lovely weekend, Ifoma.
Thank you very much, Abubakar. Now, the need for adequate welfare and protection of Nigerian journalists through effective implementation of relevant laws has again been stressed by stakeholders in the media. Aisha Uba Ali reports that this came to the fore at the Media Week Awards ceremony organized by the FCT NUJ Council in Abuja.
It was an event meant to recognize and celebrate some outstanding Nigerians who have done incredibly well in their various fields and nation building, but allowed guests to interact informally. However, it was also an opportunity for the Nigerian Union of Journalists, FCT Council, to deliberate on some of the challenges impeding journalism profession in the country, while stressing the need for effective implementation of the Freedom of Information Bill and addressing challenges such as poor salary, inadequate modern equipment, and shortage of staff, among others.
To the Nigerian government, we reiterate our call to employers in the media industry to be fair, to obey constitutional order, and as a union, we will continue to negotiate.
I'm pretty sure that from here, they are already gingered to do more for humanity.
Journalism being at the fourth estate of the realm will continue to thrive.
Award presentation climaxed the event.
Recognition of her hard work as the Minister of State of FCT. Ever since she has come on board, she has brought some leverage into the administration.
In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
Sports updates.
Nigeria has continued to win medals at the ongoing Africa Senior Weightlifting Championship, which started on Thursday in Nairobi, Kenya. As at the time of filing this report, Nigeria has won 12 medals as Africa #1, Adijat Olanioye and Stella Peter win 3 gold medals each. Still at international level, 2 Nigerian women will compete at the 2021 National Collegiate Athletic Association NCAA Championship in Eugene, United States. Ruth Usoro grabbed a ticket to the event after leaping a windy 6.67 meters at the West Regionals. She'll be joined by Mercy Abire, who recorded a personal best of 6.44 meters at the NCAA East Preliminary. Both athletes will use the NCAA Championship as an avenue to secure Olympic tickets. In basketball, former national team coach Sani Ahmed has advocated for inclusion of more home-based players in the camp of the Tigers.
On so many occasions, anytime I take the team, I always mix up with the home base. Because like I said, what is the player at home trying to achieve? He wants to wear the green, white, green.
As the Super Eagles eager to qualify for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar after picking Africa Cup of Nations tickets, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria has promised more support for its supporters club in cheering the national team to victory. During the visit, Super Eagles Supporters Club also decorated the association's president, Musa Mohammed, as its grand patron.
We will try our best to look what to assist the supporters club.
Still on Supporters Club, Confederation of Africa Football has recognized the display of the authentic Nigeria football and Allied Sports Supporters Club as an African football culture. The authentic club stole the show with its colorful display while supporting Nigeria at the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, where the Super Eagles finished third. Clement Olorutoba, NTA News.
Six years of Buhari's administration, spotlight on developmental strides, achievements and challenges. Join us on Saturday, 29th of May, time 9 a.m. Stay with us.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you so much for watching. Remember, join NTA in the stand against rape and rapists. Bye for now.